All right, let's talk about what was maybe the play of the game for the Kansas City Chiefs. To set the stage, it's a 3rd down and 4 situation. So, okay, 3rd down and 4, 2 minutes left. It's a tie game, but if the 49ers can get the first down, they could realistically be in a scenario where probably they could take the lead. You'd assume the field goal is made. If Moody ended up making the long one, he probably would make a slightly shorter one. And then after the ensuing kickoff and everything, given the timeouts, the Chiefs would probably have around 20-ish seconds after getting the football down 3 points with no timeouts. Is it possible? Sure, it's Mahomes. But basically, the 49ers would be in like a 99% chance to win scenario if they can convert this first down. I want to bring your attention to that player right there for Kansas City. He's not really relevant to this play, but in many ways he is very relevant to this play. Watch what he's going to do. Watch him just kind of fake. Okay, am I blitzing? Am I not? Am I playing press? What am I doing here? Just not giving away exactly what he's doing. So I paused it right here, but that's kind of what he's doing. Selling as though he could be doing anything. Trent McDuffie on the other side of the field was doing that as well. So if you're someone who's saying maybe Purdy should have known that Trent McDuffie was blitzing, the issue is that guys are constantly showing as though they could be blitzing or not. So you kind of just get used to, like, I have no idea if they're blitzing or not. I'll have to make my read post-snap. This is the way the play is set up for Kansas City. You see a lot of guys are lined up as though it's man coverage. They also have 2 safeties deep on this play, what makes the Spagnuolo scheme so difficult and why it can fool so many quarterbacks, even Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Famously, back in the undefeated Patriots years, Spagnuolo was the Giants defensive coordinator who schemed up a lot of, the narrative is that they got pressure with Ford. It's not true at all. They blitzed a ton in that game, and it was fooling Brady. So if it can fool Brady, it can fool anybody. But what makes this so difficult is you don't know where the blitz is coming from. We know Trent McDuffie is blitzing. If you remember the play, you know that's where the blitz is coming from. But of course, Purdy does not know that. But the reason you can have Trent McDuffie blitz is if he's blitzing, then a safety simply picks up Brandon Ayuk. That's the way this scheme works. And so you can do this on several different sides of the field if you want to. A player on the other side of the field will also be blitzing on this one. He'll be rushing in, and then the safety on that side of the field, what he's actually doing is he's going to stay on that side of the field and kind of stay deep. But if Christian McCaffrey goes out and runs a route, he then will step in and make sure he covers McCaffrey. So that's the way that works. Okay, let's reset now. Now you kind of understand why it's so difficult to know if Spagnuolo is blitzing or if he's not blitzing, and how the blitz can come from anywhere. You never know which player could be blitzing. Any player could be blitzing. Well, let's talk about the blitz concept itself. As I mentioned, those 6 players are going to be rushing the passer on this one. Okay, well, that seems like an issue, right? You only have 5 offensive linemen. Well, first what you're going to do is you're going to have the right guard and right tackle block, the 2 players at the line. And so, okay, if this is an issue, right? Only 5 offensive linemen. Well, not exactly. Christian McCaffrey can block, right? And if he's blocking towards his offense's right, which he will be doing on this play, well, now you're okay for those 3 players, and you haven't even used your center. Then the center can block to his left, and you can block everybody on this play. You're in a pretty decent situation right here. Except when this play begins, the center isn't blocking towards his left. He's blocking towards his right, which again means that for the other 2 defensive linemen on that side of the field, well, they have, offensive linemen they have to go up against. But right there, Trent McDuffie, no one is there to pick him up. To me, this is a mistake by San Francisco. If your running back who, what is ready to pick up a blitz is on the offense's right, what you have to do is you have to make sure that the center is blocking towards your left. You have to have that protection set. To me, this is on Purdy. I think Purdy should have set his protection better and communicated that better. And also, I'm actually looking at it. I don't even believe that was McCaffrey. It wasn't McCaffrey. It was a tight end who was lined up in the backfield as a running back, which was a white tight end, which is why I thought it was McCaffrey. But that's honestly even more of a mistake because he's just there to block on that play. That's all he's doing. So why are you having essentially 4 blockers on one side of the field and only 2 on the other side of the field? It's just a mistake there. But again, these are the kind of things that the Spagnuolo scheme can create for you. So, okay, good job. Well done, Spagnuolo. You got McDuffie an unblocked pressure. Well done. The play is not over. You look at Jawan Jennings, doesn't appear to have much separation, but the way he's playing, he might as well be Calvin Johnson. Just throw it up there and hope it works out. So that's maybe how you could look at this. But again, take your attention back to Trent McDuffie and what he's going to do here. as you see, watch him leap up. He knocks that football away, and they do not get the first down. It's 4th and 4. They end up kicking the field goal there, which I think you could have maybe even argued, do you go for it there to try and not give the Chiefs another opportunity? An argument can be made, but again, that'd be a really aggressive call. I did hear some people say maybe the 49ers should have ran the football on this play. If you run it here, then you have another situation where on a 4th down and 2, say you don't get it, then you'd still be okay. There's arguments to be made about all that, but at the end of the day, they had a good situation. They didn't get the protection perfect, and also the Chiefs kind of schemed us up to allow it to work. So I think you got to give credit to Kansas City, maybe put some blame on the protection, because this was, there was also the unblocked Chris Jones pressure that I made a whole video on as well that happened in overtime. So that's an issue for the 49ers, but to me, I'm not going to sit here and really crush a lot of it too much. In terms of play calling, yes, this was a mistake by, to me, I put that on Purdy. I usually put that on the quarterbacks. Not always the quarterback's fault. Maybe it was a communication issue, but either way, that's kind of how I view it. And also, I would bring up as well, I think one thing that is worth noting is there was plenty of time left on the play clock at this point, so it wasn't like one of those situations where, what are you going to do? You have to get the snap off. There was 9 seconds when the ball was snapped. You had time at that point to restructure the blocking concept if you wanted to. Purdy had time to do that. But again, it's man, the guy's in his 2nd year going up against the Steve Spagnuolo scheme. This is difficult. It's why sometimes it really helps, and this is kind of one of those weird things that is true, is a lot of times it does help a young quarterback to have a really smart center, right? Because the center can also do that. The center can also tell everyone, hey, I'm blocking this way. They can make that check as well. But again, it's hard to blame anyone too much, although it does feel like this was a mistake, but that's just the issue against Spagnuolo, right? Is against a lot of other coordinators, you can make these mistakes constantly throughout a game, and you're probably going to be okay. If you make a mistake like this against Spagnuolo, he's going to find a way to take advantage, but at the same time, part of me does kind of feel the more I think about it, the fact that the Chiefs blitzed here and the fact that, it's not that surprising. And again, if the Chiefs only had a 5-man blitz, but it was McDuffie, someone on the offense's left, that straight shot still would have happened. I think a lot of people view the cover 0 and say, oh, well, yeah, if you all-out blitz, someone's going to get through untouched, of course. But again, it wasn't an all-out blitz. There ended up being a safety deep on this play. The safety who was covering the tight end lined up as a halfback, he ended up staying deep, and they still got a guy straight to the quarterback. That's a mistake. But again, got to give credit to Kansas City for taking advantage. That's kind of how I view all of it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.